The GBI has wrapped up its investigation in the shooting death of Sammy Davis Jr. We're going to take you now to that news conference at the district attorney's office in Bibb County.
I received the case file of the GBI's investigation into the shooting death of Sammy Davis Jr. by Macon Police Officer Clayton Sutton. This is a large file. It contains hours of video and recorded interviews, as well as hundreds of pages of documentary evidence. We have already begun our review of this file, and we will do so as quickly as possible without sacrificing the quality or the accuracy of our own review. But we will not be rushed. We're going to do this right. We know this is an important case to the community, and we know that the community wants and deserves answers. And we're going to give this case the attention that it deserves. After a thorough review of the case file, we will announce our decision on how to proceed. Until that time, however, I will not comment on the facts of the case. Thank you for your understanding. Any questions? Obviously not about the facts of the case.
What was the holdup in the investigation? It was announced that there was going to be the results are going to be brought in the middle of February. It's now the end of February. What was the specific holdup?
It's my understanding that there were some forensic tests that simply had not been completed by the crime lab. There were multiple, from my initial review, there were multiple tests conducted by the state crime lab, and one in particular was not released until today. So as soon as that test from the crime lab was completed today, they forwarded it to GBI and Perry, and GBI and Perry called us and released their file to us.
Chief Mike Burns called for the feds to help. Do you have any more on that? Can you comment on that at all?
I'll leave that to Chief Burns, although I can tell you that I've already been in discussions with the U.S. Attorney about this case for weeks.
What had to happen before you got these case files?
You mean what did they do?
Yeah, what did they do?
I'm not going to get into the facts of the case, but I can tell you that they've done their job. I mean, they've interviewed witnesses. That's part of what's on the case file is hours of witness interviews. I mean, this is from my initial view of what's in this case file, it appears they did a very thorough job.
Ballpark, when do you think you might announce your results?
My best estimate would be between 2 and 3 weeks.
What specifically in the report in terms of the video? I know that was a big question. You know, how much light was that able to shed? Did they have anything from cruisers, or was it from the supermarket? And how much were they able to glean from that? I'm
not going to get into the contents of this file. I'll just tell you that there are multiple videos of multiple relevant facts.
Have you been in touch with the Davis family today on your announcement, or are they hearing about this first right now?
No, I talked with Ms. Davis today.
What did she say?
I don't think it would be fair for me to get into our conversation, but she was aware. She knows that we're just beginning. You know, we just got the file today, and so we're hitting the ground running. But like I said, we're going to do this as quickly as we can without sacrificing quality or accuracy. I know the community wants and deserves answers, but they deserve the right answers.
What public officials have you been in talks with? Because I know at least on City Council there was some frustration of even people serving at that level of government of not hearing enough on the case. You know, who have you reached out to since getting the information here?
Well, at this point, it's not really my place to reach out to anyone on City Council. At this point, my job is to review the facts of the investigation and to determine what the appropriate course of action is.
Are you planning on meeting with the Chief of Police to talk about it at all? Because I know that, obviously their role is different from yours in terms of that you would be charging people versus them in terms of any officer's employment. Is there any coordination at all between you guys?
This is an independent, objective investigation that we're conducting. We are doing our own independent review, just as the GBI did their own independent, objective review. So are we.
So what will be the next step after you've done your independent review?
Well, that will depend upon what the results of the review are. So I will, after I've made a thorough and accurate review of the case file, I will announce what the next step is. Any other questions? All right, thank you, folks. I have copies of the statement that I made if any of you want them.
All right.
Should be enough.
Now, just to go back a little bit, that was regarding the case of Sammy Davis Jr. Davis was shot by a Macon police officer, Clayton Sutton, in December. And this is what happened today. We had the GBI hand over their case file. District Attorney David Cook says it was a very large file. There's hours of video to go through, and there's a lot of documented evidence. So it's going to take some time before he's going to be able to bring an answer back to the public and decide what, if any, charges will be brought against Officer Clayton Sutton. He said the reason that case file was probably handed over late was because there was some forensic evidence they were waiting on. They were expecting that file to be ready by mid-February, but again, it is now the last day of February, and they're just now getting that file today. He says he's been in touch with the family, but will not be talking about any evidence presented by the GBI or any discussions with the family, with the media at this time. And we're going to have a full recap for you on that news conference on the news at 6, so be sure to tune in here in less than an hour. We'll see you later.